The Wayne County Commission Committee on Ways and Means public hearing will now convene.
Commissioner Scott. Present. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Here.
Commissioner Marecki.
Here.
Commissioner Clementi.
Here.
Commissioner Anderson.
Present.
Vice Chair Baydoun.
Here.
Chair Kinlock.
Present.
We have a quorum present.
Thank you. Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
Item B, Chair's remarks.
I have none at this time. Next item.
Item C, approval of the minutes from the July 21st, 2026 meeting.
So moved. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, this item stands approved.
We're
Next item, yes.
We are now going to move to item E, new business number 1, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment 2026-35-029, reallocating expenditures and decertifying revenue in the law enforcement fund.
Motion to. Oh. Okay, thank you.
Terry, everything going well?
Okay. Okay, so at this time, who's here to speak to this item?
Jerome Picorni, Director of Sheriff Finance.
Welcome to the right side.
Who's here to speak to this item?
This is, can I be heard? This is Jerome Picorni, Director of Sheriff Finance.
Okay, we'll proceed to the next item.
Item number 2, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment 2026-35-015, certifying revenue and reallocating expenditures in the general fund.
Okay, who's here to speak to this item? Okay, people,
Can I be heard?
let's see. Okay, at this time, we will proceed to the
Morning.
next
Good
item.
morning, commissioners. Hello.
Okay,
Good morning.
who's speaking and which item are you here to address?
This is Vanita Terry, Sheriff's
okay,
Office,
thank
Chief
you.
of Administration. So Jerome Picorni, my Sheriff, Director of Finance, was speaking. I could hear him, but I guess Commission cannot hear him. He's actually here to speak on the budget adjustments. So Jerome, could you try to speak again and see if they could hear you, please?
Jerome Picorni, Sheriff Finance.
Okay, yes, okay. Can you speak to the first item? Madam Clerk,
Jerome Picorni?
Madam Clerk.
Second item.
Oh, the second.
He's on the second item.
So he's only going to speak on the second item.
I can speak on both.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So go back to the first item and
Okay.
read that again so we be clear on it. Okay, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Item number 1, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment 2026-35-029, reallocating expenditures and decertifying revenue in the law enforcement fund. Number 2, requesting commission approval of budget adjustment 2026-35-015, certifying revenue and reallocating expenditures in the general fund.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry for whatever technical issues there were, but this first item would be a budget adjustment for the Wayne County Sheriff's Office receives every year a multi-year justice assistance grant from the Bureau of Justice Assistance, federal government. Every year about January, we have to submit to just correct what's in the adopted budget for what is remaining as a fund balance. And that is what is before you right now. It's just correcting what actually remains from what was adopted.
Okay. Okay, so any questions of the committee members? Any questions of the committee members? I just want to say that as we move through these budget hearings, I know this isn't a budget hearing, but I want to make sure that everyone in administration are advised to be here in person. The only exceptions are if it's made by the chair of the commission or myself. Everyone is to be here in person as we proceed through these budget hearings. But in this regard, I'll entertain a motion for item E1 and E2.
Motion to approve items E1 and E2.
Support. It's been moved and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? These items stands approved. Thank you. Okay, next item, Madam Clerk.
We are now going to item D, unfinished business. Requesting Commission approval of recommended two-year comprehensive executive budget and appropriations ordinance for fiscal years 2026, 2027, and 2027-2028, including the operating budget plans for fiscal year 2026, 2027, and the projected budget for fiscal year 2027, 2028.
A motion to pass for the day.
So moved.
It's been moved by Clementi, supported by Commissioner Anderson. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? This item stands approved. Next item, Madam Clerk.
We're now moving to item E, number 3, fiscal year 2026, 2027 budget presentations. First, we have Third Judicial Circuit of Michigan.
Yes, thank you.
Morning, Commissioner.
Good morning. I would like to start off by saying welcome to the County Commission. I know this is your first budget hearing, and I would like to begin by asking, so we have received the recommendation from the county executive as it relates to its recommendation for the funding of the Third Circuit Court. And I'd like to ask whether or not what is being recommended, is that sufficient, in your opinion, to carry out the duties and functions of your branch of government?
I'm gonna yield to my budget, our brand new CFO.
Yes.
I think it's on. Is it on? All right. Good morning, Chair. It's sufficient, but we do need a technical
Okay, just
adjustment.
state your name for the record. I'm
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Mia Grillier.
Okay, absolutely. Hello. Yep.
It's a pleasure to see you.
See you again. Absolutely. Okay, you can, okay, so at this time, you can begin your presentation.
Good morning. Again, my name is Edward Ewell Jr., and I'm happy to be the Chief Judge of Wayne County Circuit Court. I've been before the commission before, but that as in a role of corporation counsel in the 90s. So I'm not trying to get with my age, but it's fair to say I'm getting toward the twilight of my career, given the mandatory age requirement. I'm joined today by Frank Hardister, who's to my right, who's our executive court administrator, someone who I think is one of the best executive administrators, I believe, in the country.
I would agree.
Brand new chief financial officer, Mia Grillier.
Absolutely.
By Leonard, our project consultant, and I apologize for the absence of my chief judge pro tem, Halal Farhad, but he, who is a person who's always interested in taking care of the needs of the people, he is in a trial right now, and he asked that I give apologies for that, but no disrespect for that. This is our first year. I've only been here for about 7 months, and I'm excited about the work that we've done, and also looking forward to continued collaboration with the commission, and thanking you for your assistance in helping us serve the citizens of Wayne County and ensure the access to justice. Our motto is servant leadership. This simply means to provide employees the tools to do their jobs at the highest level. Effective leaders don't simply direct employees how to do their jobs. They bring them into the decision-making process to ensure that shared ownership and stronger outcomes are maintained. We believe through team building and cohesiveness, we can better serve the public. This is one of the reasons the court is holding a retreat this year to focus on service. And that is something that I think we all believe is very important as we do our jobs. As part of our hearing today, we'd like to cover a few key areas. I'm not going to speak very long. Our recent fiscal year accomplishments, update on our juvenile division, security and infrastructure, and the current court staffing picture, and our most pressing technology needs. First, I'd like to talk about the accomplishments and recognitions. I'd like to first recognize our county partners, especially the commission, for our collective collaboration on multiple projects, not only over this year, but the past several years, and also as my recent experience as chief judge. In 2025, we introduced the 10 Minutes to Justice program, which allows judges to individually engage with the community, city council, township boards, to strengthen the public understanding of the operations of the court, juror responsibilities while building trust and fostering stronger communities. This program is continued in 2026, and we are happy to report that we have visited 26 communities with 4 more scheduled by the end of September. If you would like one of our judges to come to your community, certainly reach out and we'll be happy to do that. Last year, we sent out more than 220,000 juror summons to Wayne County residents. Also, through events like Law Day, Adoption Day, and mock trials, we create opportunities for students and their families with the court to learn about the justice system. The Friend of Court restructuring has improved the service and helped families better manage their child support matters. In addition, we have expanded recruitment efforts to address staffing needs across the court while further reducing vacancy rates. And that's something, again, we appreciate your assistance in helping us do that. We also are starting to use Zoom recording platforms instead of other traditional vendors, which has resulted in significant cost savings to the court. We also have installed ADA assistive devices to improve accessibility with all 97 courtrooms and hearing rooms throughout the court. Finally, we repurposed the large monitors. A lot of times when, Frank Murphy Hall of Justice was taken out of commission, there were large monitors there. We repurposed them and implemented a system where now if you come to court, there's a digital monitor outside identifying the court, not only the court, but it also identifies what cases were there. So people don't have to come in and ask questions. So where's my case? They could just find the judge, look on the monitor. So we didn't throw those monitors away or donate them. We reused them here in KMAC. These displays have improved information access and provide real-time information on docket changes, as well as displays important court information to our public. And, again, we can thank Frank Hardister for coming up with that great idea. Next, some of the key areas I'd like to discuss with you, and I'm sure you've heard this, but this is one where, for me, it is an area where I don't think it's received enough attention. That's the juvenile, just the entire juvenile process. Initially, juvenile attorney compensation. One of the major updates from the juvenile division includes indigent attorney fees. There was a Senate bill that has been signed by the governor on July 21st with an effective date of October 1st, 2027. This important legislation expands the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission at the MIDC duties to include indigent defense of youth. As you know, the court has been advocating for increase in juvenile indigent defense fees for some time. Over the next few years, MIDC will address the fees paid to attorneys providing defense services to youth in delinquency matters. Again, that date is 2027. So, however, this legislation will not address, short gap in compensation between now and then. In addition, compensation paid to parents and youth in child protective cases, these are the abuse and neglect matters before the court, that's still unaddressed. So collectively, we will need to find an enhanced funding solution for abuse and neglect cases, as well as work to assist MIDC in transitioning on those delinquency matters. The court has experienced many challenges retaining qualified attorneys due to the competitive market conditions and higher paying rates elsewhere. Reduction in attorneys affects case flow, it affects timeliness, and overall quality representation for our juveniles. And again, our youth are, our future. These children should not be thrown away, and they should be afforded excellent representation, just like everyone else. It's a very complicated system. Most of the attorneys that we've met with are much older, and they're phasing out. And we're not able to get new attorneys there because the compensation is so low. To attract more attorneys, the court is focusing on improving compensation costs and professional engagement. The next area, security and infrastructure. Collectively, the court and the county have established a cohesive security plan which strengthens safety and improves collaboration between the Wayne County Sheriff and Allied Security. However, more still needed. And this is something that I deal with on a almost daily basis. Several of the judges, particularly the women in the domestic division, have received repeated threats and harassment in their jobs and in their homes. When I say threats, I'm talking about where people have actually said they were going to kill them, their children, their staff. And we are happy that the Wayne County Sheriff has responded. The local communities have responded very well. But we need to do more. Safety is a major concern for both the judges and the staff. To assist our security team, we desperately need the county to prioritize moving toward implementing a security surveillance system at the Lincoln Hall of Justice, Penobscot, and KMAC. As we look at infrastructure, the court is still spread out over 4 different locations. The biggest challenge with having 4 locations is it makes it difficult for us to achieve the goal of one family, one court. For example, the family domestic is housed in parts of 3 different buildings, as you may know. Also, as you may know, multiple locations also reduce efficiencies. This is especially important that we have 3 to 4 times more cases in the civil, criminal, and family divisions than in any other county in the state. I'm proud to say that I believe that we're doing a great job in terms of keeping up the caseload, but it's burgeoning and getting larger every year. And we can provide statistics on that, those increases after this meeting. Lincoln Hall of Justice is an aging facility with a variety of structural issues such as HVAC, water damage, outdated, non-working elevators, and more. And if any of the commissioners have been there, you know exactly how bad it is. Finally, turning to the challenges of staffing, the State Court Administrative Office, which oversees all courts in Michigan, published initial estimates indicated that our court needs 23 new judges, recognizing a lack of county courthouse space and funding limitations. Scale on the court recommended an increase of 6 new judges. Additional judgeships will help ensure cases move more quickly through the system and improve the efficiency and delivery of justice. The additional judges will impact our stakeholders, though. The sheriff, the clerk, prosecutor, and the indigent defense services all would have to receive additional resources as well. So we recognize and respect. We are not. We understand that your job is to make sure that the counties, the taxpayers' money is spent wisely. At the same time, we're trying to provide the best service possible to our citizens. People shouldn't go to other counties and get one system of justice and come to Wayne County and get anything less. We now have 422. I missed something, I'm sorry. One of the other impacts on staffing include the following, as I indicate: large case volumes increasing tremendously due to expanded litigation. And that's in every area. We have at least a 20% increase in civil filings and criminal filings and domestic filings. Personal protection orders are increasingly filed in Wayne County. Additionally, the advent of artificial intelligence and the use of AI among pro se litigants has increased the filings of briefs and other court documents, which requires additional work on behalf of our staff and sometimes slow things down. Judges have found that when even attorneys use AI, sometimes if they don't know what they're doing, it's like what's in the hand of the user. If they don't know what they're doing, AI will make up a case and cite something that doesn't exist. So we have to be very careful how we process and review that going forward. We now have 422 active employees and 59 judges. There are 88 openings we are currently attempting to fill, and retaining qualified talent has become more difficult as employees have more opportunities to offer higher pay elsewhere. As I get ready to close, we believe professional development, training, and clear advancement help attract employees, because then they realize that there is a pathway to improvement. We believe that retaining high-performing employees is important in providing high services to our public. In terms of technology, we are planning some capital expenditures that include technological enhancements to improve the access to citizens and staff, building maintenance and upgrades to improve access to justice. Example of those enhancements are Office 365, upgraded jury management software, and website improvements. Thank you, commissioners. We're happy to hear any questions that you may have.
Well, I want to thank you for your presentation and appreciate all the hard work that you all have been doing over the previous year. Just wanted to point out and get some clarity on a couple of things that you mentioned. The Lincoln Hall of Justice, a few years ago, the county did engage a study as it relates to the Lincoln Hall of Justice. Has that study been completed and been, I'm not sure if it's been provided to our staff hasn't received it, as well as I know I have as well as the county executive and as well as the chair of the commission have had some meetings in the past when I first got on here going back to the previous chief judge on the one family, one court. The previous chief judge stayed in touch with me and gave me updates as well as Mr. Hardister. It relates to the one family, one court. I have not over the past year because I knew you were transitioning, met with you on your team as it relates to the one family. We want to make sure that stays at the forefront of our conversation to the point that we even had issued an RFP of sort. And so I haven't heard anything else as relates to that. And I'm just wondering, where is that as far as the priorities of moving that forward and who's handling it now?
I'm gonna get Frank Harris for that, but we will definitely make sure that we keep you informed on where we are.
Thank you.
Going forward.
Commissioner, thank you. Frank Hardister, Third Circuit Court Executive Court Administrator. We have been working with the county exec's office on what we're calling C3, which is basically the next courthouse project. There have been times that things were moving pretty quickly, and then other times where things have slowed down for a variety of reasons. Recently, we've been in communication with the county exec's office on this topic, and they're as we speak, looking at kind of short-term and then long-term solutions for this topic of trying to get all of the courts in one building at a site to be determined. So I'm thankful to say that even as of yesterday, we did a walkthrough of the Penobscot building as an example. The county is certainly aware of all the problems that exist at our Lincoln Hall of Justice. And I think we all agree that for a place that we're trying to address very serious issues with our youth, the last place they need to come into is a place where the elevators are not working, the ceilings are falling down, the paint is chipped, et cetera, et cetera. We want this to be a positive experience for those youth, to help them on a path of growth and for them to be a productive member of our society here. But I'm thankful to report that we are working with the county exec's office on this, and we've seen, like I said, recent movement on it, and I believe that things are going well.
Oh, okay, so the commission has been especially more so recently making sure, and Mr. Yule, you know you've been around, make sure we're part of the front end of the conversation on something as critical as this, that we're not surprised, and so that we begin that conversation about the one family, one court, going back to Judge Smith and then subsequent Chief Justice. Please keep my office as well as the chair office in the mix, and then we would like to actually have someone as part of those discussions so that it could be a cohesive and smooth, presentation as we move forward through this. Yeah,
Understood.
Thank you.
And you understand that's a delicate walk for us as well, but we will do that.
Oh, absolutely. No, the county executive and the commission has a great relationship, and we've been having cooperation in recent situations. Okay, so Commissioner Baydun, then Commissioner Marecki, and proceed. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Judge, for being here. My best wishes to my dear friend, Judge Farhat. Would have loved to see him today. I want to focus on the security aspect within the courtrooms. You touched on it. You can't put a price tag on security. How many deputies do you have within the court system right now, and are you needing more security within the courts, or is that adequate what you have right now? I mean, be honest with us. It's okay.
Well, we need more, but we've been meeting with the sheriff, and he has promised there have schools going right now, and we have been promised, although I'll be honest, the promise was made before and it didn't happen, that by the end of the year that we will be close to full staffing. We're I'm hopeful. That's all I can say. no disrespect to Allied, I think they do it. Oh, I'm sorry. No disrespect to Allied, I think they do an outstanding job. But I believe our judges are more comfortable with a trained sheriff deputy. That's just
Um,
With arrest powers.
how many, what's the percentage of the cases that are being heard via Zoom versus in person, would you say?
That's a great question. You know, the struggle, I don't know that I have a direct answer for you that I could provide you today, just to be clear.
Mhm.
And that's something I can certainly come back with you on. At the end of the day, any party on a case can insist that their proceeding be in person. That being said, our courtrooms are open on a daily basis to ensure that those that are seeking services can render those services. So they're going into the courtroom, they're talking with the county clerk, a representative that's in that space, and or judicial staff that are also in that space. So regardless if they're actually in an in-person hearing or not, there are still those services that are expected and being rendered. Obviously, on the domestic side, there's a lot more virtual types of proceedings that are happening, which certainly help. On the civil side as well. On the criminal and juvenile side, you're seeing a lot more in-person proceedings, as an example. Now, at the Penobscot building, just across the street, we have 14 courtrooms and hearing rooms in that location where our quasi-judicial officers, which are the referees, are located. And I was there yesterday and we were having this exact discussion. As an example, with that space, we would say 90% of those proceedings are actually virtual, whereas 10% are in person. And we always have to offer the in-person opportunity for those that maybe have some technology difficulties, or if the judicial officer insists that they appear in person, that always has to be an option.
if I could add to that, Commissioner, one of the things in the family division, you may wonder why are more of those cases online. Typically, a lot of times the woman does not want to be in the same space as her spouse because a lot of threats, even if they're not audible, are made, you know, with body language and things of that nature. So to kind of calm that down and not have problems once they leave, the option for more Zoom is probably better for everyone's safety.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Marecki?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your presentation today. You answered several of my questions. I too would be very interested in the Zoom numbers, especially as we move toward the C3 complex, because I've been thinking about this for several years and how that may change the whole layout of that instead of having your typical court there. If Zoom is a big part of it, that could change the footprint on that type of thing. So I appreciate that. Just a couple of things I saw in your responses about the more video surveillance, and you touched on that, but you're talking about the outbuildings. You're not talking about the new Justice Center, right?
Correct.
For the, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're all right. And then
JC is well equipped.
okay, great.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. And then two more things. You asked for $3 million for services and contractual things. And the request was not recommended due to a pending state legislation impacting this area. Can you touch on that at all?
Yes.
The juvenile.
Yeah, this is the juvenile.
Oh, this is juvenile.
So as the commission knows, this is an evolving topic. And to be very clear, I want to make sure it's very clear on the record that the court is 100% in support of any increase in compensation for those juvenile attorneys. And I'm not talking about court staff members. I'm talking about privately contracted juvenile attorneys that have agreed to accept cases from the court to represent youth or their parents. And it's important to differentiate. This bill that was mentioned earlier only addresses juvenile delinquency cases. It does not address the abuse neglect. And so that is also an area that the court does provide counsel for. When I say provide counsel, we have contracts with private attorneys that have been vocal with this commission about their desire to have increases. And in an attempt to address that through our budget process, we purposely put that in there, which was normally not the past practice. And we did that to bring it to the attention of this commission, as well as the county, of our interest to see that something is done.
Okay, so we do see it now, and it's been denied at this point.
I just wanted to add that that fund is controlled by the county. It falls up under our, what is it? Our judiciary, what-
Judiciary.
right. So it used to be under us, but it's not under us anymore, and the county controls that with Fund 101. And so as the court, because it falls under our budget, sometimes we did the recommendation to increase it because we support it, and then the county denied it.
Okay, thank you. That
And,
makes.
yeah, and
that
so
makes
noted.
sense. Yep, okay, and then I think the last thing I have is I know that your goal is to get 6 more judges. How does that work?
It's a complicated process. I think the state has to pass legislation. Then this body would have to support it, and then it would have to be agreed to by the county executive office. When I say complicated, it probably wouldn't take place in the earliest until 2028 with the election of new judges. We certainly would have to find spaces. So the hope is that between now and then, assuming we get all the approvals, that we would find the space and then have the sheriff and all of the other partners come up to speed to work in the courtrooms. Our goal will probably be to initially concentrate most of our efforts in the juvenile area first, and then family, civil, and then criminal. We haven't made a final decision on that, but that's our plan when we get the new judges.
So it
Hopefully.
would all have to be timed to an election. That's how it'd be filled right off the bat, would be an
Right.
election. Okay,
And
all right.
Commissioner, if I may, just
Go ahead.
add to that just briefly, just because I want to make sure it's clear that when we were working with Scale on the recommendation where they initially came back at, nearly 20 more judges for our court, obviously we don't have the space for that. And so we looked at what available space that we have today in our existing facilities. And we did identify 6 locations that exist now. For example, over the KMAC building, we use a courtroom for our self-help center. We're relocating that self-help center to another available space that was used for a library, and a lot of folks are not using books anymore. And so we have online services, and we're moving self-help out of the courtroom to make that courtroom available. So we have 6 spaces available today for judges to come in, and that includes the recording systems. Instead of the more expensive systems that you've seen like JAVS or BIS systems, we're using Zoom, just like we're using this room as a recording platform, and saving a lot of money by doing that. So our spaces are ready for courtrooms, but we recognize that this is a larger impact, because if we have obviously a judge over in the juvenile and a criminal side, you're going to need a prosecutor, you're going to need another clerk, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is a larger ask, and really today is once again where we're planting that seed that this is coming, and we continue to water that seed.
Sounds good. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay, Commissioner Baker McCormick, and then Commissioner Anderson, then Commissioner Mayberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Indigent defense, you talked about, and thank you so much for being here, first of all. You talked about there being a difference between the abuse and neglect attorneys versus other attorneys that are included in the increase of starting July 2027. What and how many attorneys do that or does that impact?
So you're talking about on the abuse neglect side?
Exactly.
So
Yes.
originally we had a roster of over 50 attorneys, and I believe a roster still exists, but the reality of that roster, maybe only 13 are actively involved, as an example. And this has come up during past commission or Ways and Means Committee meetings, expressing concern that the numbers are dwindling and there's not a lot of people signing up with interest to take part in that. And a lot of it has to do with compensation. We have to do better.
Right. Okay. And the indigent defense, the attorneys that are receiving the raises in 2027, how many attorneys does that impact?
It's well over 50, but I want to just.
Is it the one and the same?
No, they're not one and the same. There are different groups of attorneys that handle certain types of cases based upon their level of interest. You know, it remains to be seen what this is going to look like. We can only look at, for example, what's happened on the adult side of the house where, you know, for many years, the court was the one that had a roster of attorneys that then appointed those attorneys, et cetera. On the adult side of the house, that all shifted to IDSD. And they have the contract and work with the state on the grant with MIDC funds to develop a system that meets the standards set forth about what proper representation should look like. So that same process will have to occur on the juvenile side. We fully anticipate that you'll see a robust number of attorneys with interest on the juvenile delinquency side, while we still struggle on this child protection side.
Okay. And you indicated, and I know we've kind of been back and forth on this issue of increase in pay, the portion that the county controls. And you said that we denied any increase.
It was denied through this budget process today because traditionally it's not a court fund, if you will, that we would be asking for those dollars for. It's truly a county fund, if I'm saying that correctly. And so I'm looking at my CFO.
So it's not included in this budget, is that what
It is not included in the court's budget, although we attempted to request it simply to kind of force the conversation.
Okay. And it was not included, so
correct.
Therefore
It
denied.
remains a problem.
Okay. And what does that look like? What were you asking for?
The total ask was $3 million, and that covered juvenile representation in totality. And so what I mean by that is both the delinquency side as well as the child protection side. That ask was done several months ago prior to the bill that was, well, by the way, that bill has not been signed into law as of yet, to my knowledge. It was signed?
Yeah.
Okay, amen to that. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, great. That's good news. Perfect. All right, good. Thank you.
But I need to, as he's explaining, you saw that bill came through.
Right.
That obligations at the state need to address this. This isn't something that the county needs to. So the county is in agreement of having the state pass that legislation to bring about what this request is. But the county at this time denied it because we have to have similar legislation from the state.
Right.
Yeah.
And I recall that we had this conversation last year.
Correct.
And was trying to figure out a way, but in the meantime, we're losing attorneys. And we're also, my concern ultimately is about our children and being properly represented. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, Commissioner. Just to be very clear, the bill does not address, again, it does not address the child protection, which is abuse, neglect cases. And I don't know that there are plans for it to in the near future.
So we still need to look at that. And that 3 million was for both or for?
It was for both.
Okay.
And
so
then
can we look at what that looks like for just the abuse and neglect?
2.1. Absolutely. I'm going to give you an expedited answer because our gurus are in the house today.
Great.
So the estimation is 2.1 million.
Okay, great. And so if we have this number and we know that the 2.1 million is needed to address this shortfall in staffing, and it's important
You have
I
to go,
think
we have to, like, in like many instances, we
Yeah,
have to
I
go to
think
the state of
we could-
Michigan and, shake the trees because
Okay.
they have the responsibility in this instance.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
That's not the responsibility of the state. That will be
Okay.
on the county exec.
Unless there's
No, no, no.
legislation that,
No, I'm saying that the legislature need to appropriate the funds so that we can have it, so we can be able to take care of that as far as putting it within our budget. That's what I'm saying. We need the same way they have in the past of funding these types of functions.
okay, I don't know, the answer to that. I don't know if our staff attorney or the court counsel um or anyone from the executive team has the answer to that. I'm just trying to figure out how we best serve our young people that need us. And there's a shortfall of 2.1 million. And maybe that's something we can discuss offline, I guess.
I'll
and I can,
defer to Phil.
go ahead.
Okay, Phil,
Phil, can you
okay,
chime in?
Yeah, absolutely.
thank
Philip
you.
Whitfield, Budget Director, Management and Budget. And so, as Frank noted, this was submitted as part of their budget request, which is, as he noted, is out of protocol. But the purpose of that was to start that conversation or keep that conversation going. And so, when the request was submitted, it went up through the chain as far as review and request. And pursuant to what Chairman Kenlock was alluding to, is that there is I don't want to say speculation, but there's still questions that still need to be answered from the state level according to the county executive. And so at this point in time, at the point in time that this request was made, it was decided that he wanted to kind of wait and see what the landscape was going to look like before making that decision. And that's not to say that he doesn't support it, because he does. But again, there needs to be some movement at the state level before he's willing to make that move.
Okay.
State has not, in other words, the state, there's still conversations with the state and trying to get this to move forward.
Thank you for that response. I'm just still, I mean, we've been going back and forth with this for a while. And in the meantime, we're down to 15 or so attorneys. And I don't know how we will continue down this path without addressing the issue. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to hope at some point get this resolved.
And we continue to
you.
have, Commissioner,
Right,
thank you. We
yeah.
continue to have discussions with the county exec office on perhaps a stopgap measure to address this. And I don't want to point fingers, because we are very anxious, like you, to have this addressed, because at the end of the day, it does impact our cases.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. And I want to thank you all for staying in touch with us, keeping us informed whenever we've asked questions regarding this matter. So you have promptly informed us. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you. Someone needs to nudge me to make sure we're all awake still. But anyway, I did want to go back to something that was, I think, touched on earlier, Judge, the number of judges that we're hoping to add. 6, I think, was the number.
Yes, sir.
How's the utilization of the space that's there right now in KMAC, and would those judges be in KMAC? Probably no.
They would be in juvenile, some in KMAC, and at least 1 to 2 in criminal.
Okay, so
we would look at their caseloads, we would look at the space, and see where the the biggest needs are in terms of all of those factors.
And I think we had some shifting around of some of the other offices that were in KMAC that are no longer being utilized unless something else has moved into those spaces. Maybe Frank can tell us about that.
Thank you, Commissioner. At KMAC, we have had some movement of offices, but courtrooms have remained. As I mentioned earlier, the one extra courtroom we have, as an example, is where we were doing self-help work. We're using courtroom basically as a very large office space. We're actually going to be moving that operation out of there within the next few weeks. We have that courtroom plus one additional vacant courtroom at KMAC as an example. So we have 2 spaces today that we can move judges into at KMAC. At Lincoln Hall of Justice, we have at least 1 space that we can move a judge into that location. At CJC, we have the 2 larger courtrooms that were the double jury courtrooms that are more designed for people to use when we have a double jury. But if we get additional judge, we would use that courtroom for that purpose and not, for scheduling reasons, we would move things around if we had to have a double jury. So we have the space today for those locations.
Okay, very good. It just seemed like we hadn't heard, what was being done with those spaces that were created by the shifting around of different, I think the clerk's office had things that are space and others had space that they moved over into the new building, CJC. And but I know that CJC also took on a lot of court cases and our courtrooms and other things from other buildings. The other last thing I have is just that percentage of online hearings versus in person. Does that continue to grow, the online? Because I know it was something that was, I think, necessitated because of COVID and primarily, and now that's sort of behind us. But I think we found a way to save some money by having the online hearings. What would you say is a percentage of online versus in person?
I don't have the exact percentage, but I'm going to get you that number and I'm going to share it definitely with the entire commission. I will say that COVID obviously changed the world. And I think for court purposes, there's pros and cons with everything. But for court purposes, COVID certainly allowed for more proceedings to be done virtually, which on the positive side, it's increased attendance, whether it's a court proceeding or even assessments with different members of our court staff seeking services. We're able to provide those services virtually. But on the other side of the coin, you've got an increased level of disrespect to the judiciary. There's something to be said when you walk in a courtroom and you see, the ambiance of a courtroom and the integrity that space represents.
And a security officer.
And a security officer. And all those things that are connected to that to basically say, this is an important situation. All of these resources are here dedicated to you. And if you've watched any news program, you see folks appearing, driving their car, in their bathrooms, with their pants off, you name it. And that's occurring when you have virtual proceedings. But at the end of the day, we have to remind folks of decorum, whether that decorum is in person at that court proceeding or virtual. Virtual court proceedings are not going to go away. And so what I've seen us do is learn some things work better virtually and other things do not. So we continue to evolve. And I think the numbers are going to be high on some case types, but not as high on others. So I'm going to give you that information.
If I could add to that, as a judge, if you have more participation, people show up more, even if they know they're going to get in trouble because they figure it's not going to be that day. So for example, we don't have to use the sheriffs to go arrest people if they show up, and maybe they could take care of the matter if they find out, well, I'm not going to get arrested, I just have to pay a fine. So a lot of people are afraid to come to court. So it's demystified some by going online. In addition, if a person, let's say a single mom has a job and she has to appeal, she could, lose work, money, and time. But if she's only going to be there for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, to do it online is a convenience and possibly could save a job that way. So witnesses can even appear sometimes to just, it may be 5 minutes. So to come downtown, park, and you don't get reimbursed if you're a litigant for your parking, just for a short period of time to get another date, what your attorney could do, then I think it does provide. So I think a mixture, and I think what we're going to try to do is come up with what's the best mix to optimize the decorum, professionalism, while at the same time providing the citizens access to justice.
Very good, very good. Last question I have is as far as the jury, trying to get jurors to come in or people to come in and be jurors. And how is that going now? Because I know that seems like it's always been a problem.
At the risk of getting in trouble with my jury director, I will just say this. When COVID hit, many courts throughout Michigan, throughout the United States, abandoned efforts to enforce the jury summons. What does that mean? It means that we're summoning more and more people to net the number of people we need to walk through the door. And so we are starting to dust off enforcement practices related to a jury summons. And it's important. It's an order from the court for people to appear. But when you hear the number earlier about summoning 220,000 people for jury duty, that number is so high because of the net that we need to walk through that building. And if enforcement efforts are lacking, we're going to have to continue to increase that number just to get people walking through the door. Then you start to run a risk of making sure that those jurors that are appearing are a good representation of the community in our county. And so we have to do better on the court side, and this is not unique to Wayne County, it's across the state, about ways that we can educate our citizens to reinforce the importance of jury duty, but then also reminding them that when they fail to respond or fail to show up, we are going to contact them again. And so that process is underway.
I think it's very important that we educate our communities and that people, judges, I know Judge Farhad and I mean, go into our own communities, because there's a fear that a lot of our communities have about coming where law enforcement and where judges are, and to demystify that, and to educate people and let them know, people fought and died for the right to serve on the jury. And if you are a member of your family or involved in the process, either as a victim or defendant or participant, you want your fellow citizens to do their duty, to come in so that, the justice looks like them. So it's important that we continue to educate.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I don't know if there's been an extensive effort to reach out to local communities that have a cable program, and being able to use that. I mean, you could probably put something together and send it to all the communities that would provide that space. But anyway,
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'd welcome you to come to Westland, and we'll set that
I think
up.
we've been there, but we'll come back,
Okay.
especially if you're going to be there. We will definitely be there.
All right. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate our long friendship. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mayberry, and then back to Commissioner Martha G. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So jury duty was one of my questions. And so that whole process, though, how are we perfecting the process? And let me tell you why I'm asking that, because I know several people, they've come down, they've even served for multiple days, and then they are requested again within 90 days. So I don't know if once you go through, are you good for a year? I don't know. But I know personally, people in my family they've come down and they've already received another notice. Now, I don't know if they were just that good that you wanted them back. I don't know. But that process is one. But two, I want to say that I can appreciate, because I was even, I received something, I was excited, but then you go down and you're there for hours and then you're told you're not selected. So you've kind of spent the whole day down there. But I did appreciate the second time that came through. I was able to call the night before. They said call after 5 o'clock or something, and they told me I wasn't needed. So can you just talk about the process and how we are looking to always make things better?
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. So there, it is a 12-month cycle. So if you've served within that 12-month cycle, then you are excused. There's some caveats to that, and I can explain that. Let me explain some examples. It's important to note that we live in an area where we have multiple courts. So we have circuit court, we have district court, we also have federal court. And some jurors receive summonses for a federal jury services, some receive summonses for like a district court, et cetera, et cetera. And so that 12-month cycle technically is with that respective court. Now, if they've served in circuit court and they advise that respective district court that they just recently served, my guess, although I don't want to speak for them, my guess is they'll likely be excused. Federal court, similar scenario, but there are scenarios that I wanted to just inform you of, that it's possible that you could get that lucky to ask to be served on 3 different court systems, jury panels. Now, that being said, the second part of your question, I'm trying to remember now. It was
Spending the like half of the day
half
only
the
to
day.
be told that you're not going to
Yes.
be
So
selected.
jury utilization is a report card that the court does get. And what I mean by that is we submit our data up to the state that provides that number I just gave you. So for example, we summons X number of jurors. And then the next question is, how many jury trials did you actually end up having after summoning that number? How many actually replied? How many showed up? How many went to a courtroom? And so that's a report card that we get. And that's something I have to work with the chief judge to work with his colleagues about. Jury utilization is what we call it. Now, that being said, I want to be careful, because just because you're in that room likely helped to resolve a case. The fact that you were there, ready to go into that courtroom, oftentimes helps to resolve a case.
It wasn't even that. We were in the waiting area. We had not even been, there were
Like in the jury assembly
70
room.
of us still
Yes.
waiting to go in, and then they came half day. Oh, nobody else is needed. We're like, we've been here for 4 hours.
There are oftentimes motions that either side of the case can bring that could delay when a jury would be brought in from an assembly space.
Mhm.
And most of the time, judges are pretty strict with attorneys, saying, hey, we're ready to go to trial. We're going to have a jury here. We're ready to proceed. But due process has to happen. And so if there are matters in front of the judge that they need to be addressed prior to the jurors coming in,
Mhm.
that happens. And sometimes when that happens, it resolves a case. Sometimes it will delay it.
And I don't want to make this about me. This is the experience,
understood.
right, that others in the room were talking about as well. So I thought
Absolutely.
absolutely for
Can I comment on that as well as a judge?
Judge.
He is absolutely right. You being there helps resolve cases, whether they're criminal, civil, or whatever, because typically, a lot of times people don't really think about, well, do I really want the citizens to make the decision, or is it in my best interest to work out my own solution? So as judges, we give them a little time to do that. What should happen, and I know it doesn't happen enough, is that, well, I will go down in that situation. I'll go down and I'll talk to the jurors and say, thank you again for your service. And I'll tell them, by you sitting out here, I know half the day, you may think it didn't matter. It does matter, because it made the parties think long and hard about, resolving it. Because if you resolve it in a jury, there's an appeal.
Mhm.
If you resolve on your own, it's over and it's done.
And I appreciate that. And so the last thing I'll say about this is, when my colleague mentioned about how we're creatively communicating, I mean, all of that is part of the narrative and the messaging. I think people don't value it because there's not a whole lot of messaging around it.
Right.
They feel like they're wasting their time spending the day. But if I was on trial, I would want somebody that kind of looks like me in that space. So that was the first one. The second was around, I know we are saying that diversion programs, that there's no more grant dollars. I want to know if the value of the program necessitates funding being considered as a line item. Were you all able to see a big, huge shift with diversion programs that we now are saying in the juvenile detention that we're no longer using because the grant dollars are discontinued?
Sadly, in many courts in Michigan, funding is always an issue.
Mhm.
I came from Kalamazoo County before I came here, and before that, another smaller county. And in Kalamazoo, as an example, the father of specialty courts was Judge Schmay. And Judge Schmay basically devoted his life to the creation of specialty courts and how it's a different approach to helping those struggling with addiction. And without a doubt, it's impactful. Funding is always a problem. And I would love to see funding be available for such programs across all of our types of divisions that need it. Now, specialty courts can get a little overboard too. You have to take a look at what's needed in your respective community, whether it be a domestic violence court, a drug treatment court, mental health court, et cetera, et cetera. So a very hard look has to be done to evaluate what's needed in that respective community. But to answer your question, anytime dollars are no longer available from the federal government or the state as it relates to specialty court programs, I don't know how I could tell you that it doesn't impact us. It does. It does impact us. It impacts our ability to provide those same level of services to those struggling with addiction.
Can you provide some numbers? And I know you don't have those with you now, around the impact and number of people that have come through specialty court and what we've been able to see because, you know, priorities are defined by where dollars are spent. And so we need to be mindful of that as we're trying to get our residents back on the right track. I want to address the ability not to grow the courts because I see that the challenge is about multiple buildings. But the last thing I'll say, and I always talk about our human capital. So what creative ways beyond job fairs
Okay,
and things?
because of the schedule, so what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna go back to, the order of the day, and so, costs, so not about programs, so we're gonna ask the costs
That's
associated.
what I was going to ask
Start-
about
start
the cost.
Yeah.
What
everything
are we
cost and
doing
funding.
for as it relates to our people?
Sure. I will tell you that I started working for Wayne County Third Circuit Court in June of 2023. I inherited a 30% vacancy rate. With the help of this commission and funding from the county exec's office, everyone in agreement, we've been able to make a huge impact on that number. We're down to just below, actually, we're down to 15%, just to be clear. That number sounds high to you or to me, but we have, I think, roughly 30 people that are in progress right now about to be hired. What have we done? We've done simple things, honestly, going back to the basics, going to job fairs, going out into the community, reaching out to colleges and universities, increasing our efforts to work with the city by bringing interns in for youth that may be interested in working the court. Quite frankly, when I walk down the street and I go to the Verizon store and get good service from someone, I say, have you ever thought about working at the courts? Those types of things, honestly, because you don't have to be a law student, a criminal justice major. It could be someone that's interested in accounting, someone that's interested in customer service, and recognizing those individuals and encouraging them to apply. And that's what we've done. So our team has basically done outside the box thinking. And then the biggest thing that I think really we saw as an impact was the turnaround. It was taking too long to hire people. Too long to hire people. Someone applies in April and we're not starting them to September. Come on.
Yeah.
We've got to
What's
do
the
better.
onboarding time now?
The onboarding time, my goal for our team is it's a little ambitious, is a month, but the reality is more like 5 weeks.
About 5 weeks. And so lastly, in this space, how are we utilizing social media? We know, for probably the population that
Excuse me. So we're gonna just deal with funding matters and those. So can you get that information back?
Absolutely.
We'll spend money on social media then.
We do. And we
We talking cost, spend money on social media. Find some influencers. Like we got to quit using this same way. That's the definition of insanity. We keep trying to get different results by using the same method. And so we're not going to close the gap like we need to. Social media is a way that we need to start communicating. And we've been spending money on it for other things. We need to spend money on it for something like this. Thank
So
you,
you do
Mr.
have
Chair.
money. I like that.
Yeah.
we do have dollars that our accounting department, our finance and budget department have approved for us to use things like LinkedIn and other social media platforms where we constantly are posting information about our job openings. If you'd like to apply, please go to www..
Okay. So we're gonna have our last question from Commissioner Martha G. Scott. That was.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you all for being here. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you as well. It has been a while.
Yes, indeed. Now, did you mention that you needed 23 new judges?
No, that's what the report said, that we needed that. We are asking for 6.
Oh, okay, because that's what I was hearing. Everybody was talking about 6, but I heard him say 23.
That's what the research report said we needed, and that's in your materials.
Okay, all right, then I guess I'll read this material.
And Commissioner Scott, that's for 2028.
Pardon?
That's for 2028.
2000.
It's not included in this budget, ma'am.
Okay,
All right.
all right, okay. Thank you. Well, I'll just keep that in mind then. All right, okay.
Also, Commissioner, if you look on page 27 of your packet, it'll tell you exactly what the recommendation was.
Okay, all right. I did work with Judge Smith a lot on that one court. And so I would still like to work with you all on it.
It's very frustrating. I'm going to be honest with you. Until we fix being in three separate places, it's going to be almost impossible to do.
Okay, but we've got to work on it.
Yeah.
You know, it goes
Yeah.
back to when Representative Ethel Terrell
Mhm.
put that in, you know, in the legislature, and she's been gone home for many, many years. So, but there's some things that I hopefully that we can just spend a little more time doing. Okay. And maybe you are doing that, but I just like to be a part of it, just to remind you all how long it's been taking us, and we need to move forward on it a little
Amen.
bit faster. All right. Thank you so much. I guess I've been around too long. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there being no additional questions from the commission, I want to thank you again, and we look forward to continuing the cooperative relationship. Thank you again.
Thank you for having.
Thank you. Oh, can you, all the, you gave a presentation, Chief Judge, you gave a presentation. Can you please give copies to, yeah, okay, thank you for the record.
Is it
Thank you.
okay if I shake your hand before I leave?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thanks so much. Okay.
Work on that every day.
I'm a good person.
We need a hug.
God bless you. Good thing you too.
I know. That's what I just told you.
Thank you so much.
You passing out money?
Huh?
You passing out money?
Well, I was told that we needed $20.
She's not here today.
I know she's not, but when is she gonna be here?
Thank you all.
I know, but I never had cash.
Oh,
Like I have purposely,
oh,
worked on bringing
yeah, okay,
just enough.
all right.
Probably have the cash.
You and my young person, you all is into all this new stuff.
Program. All right. All right. Good to see you.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, so, Homeland Security. From. Okay.
Spend it on.
We have received the recommendation from the county executive, his recommendation for funding your department for the upcoming next fiscal year. I would like to ask you whether or not this recommendation, whether or not it is sufficient in your opinion to carry out the duties and functions of your office.
Okay. Good morning, Honorable Commission and Commission staff. Appreciate this opportunity. My name is John Serta. I'm the Deputy Director of Wayne County Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I bring greetings from our director and regrets that he couldn't be here. He's dealing with a family emergency. So we are very much appreciative of the recommendation of the county exec, and it is certainly what we are looking for. And we're here to answer any questions you might have regarding our budget. proposal and request.
Okay, so, well, you can begin your presentation.
Okay. So again, we're Wayne County Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Our department is responsible for providing services and aid to the all countywide communities, all 43 communities in Wayne County, for planning, exercising response, mitigation, and recovery from all threats, both domestic and foreign, as well as natural and man-made emergencies and disasters. Our overreaching Homeland Security mission also support the area of against counterterrorism and critical infrastructure and information analysis. So basically, we have kind of two missions. One is Homeland Security, where our mission is to protect and prevent against terrorism. And secondarily, we also respond and recover for natural and man-made disasters for our 43 communities. So we support all of our 43 communities in a number of ways. We respond to incidents. We support them with equipment, PPE, and those kind of things. And so we're a small unit, we're a small department, but we're always very busy. As you can see, especially just recently, we had the air quality situation where we were able to distribute over 150,000 masks, especially to our vulnerable community, the seniors and those that have breathing issues. So we respond as quickly as we can when there's a natural disaster in any of our communities.
So I had an opportunity to actually visit the Homeland Security headquarters, and it is woefully under have a number. I'll just say this: it has a number of structural issues, and it's horrible. I'll just start it there. And I had an opportunity to go overseas and see some other Homeland Securities or emergency management systems, and we are absolutely far behind the things that I've been able to see. And so I know I had talked to the director at some point about beginning, have a conversation with the administration about a better, more suitable, more up-to-date facility. It's the question, because I just the patchwork that has been taking place over there. It's just at some point, there's not enough patching.
Well, we certainly agree with that. As you may or may not know, commissioners, we have two facilities. Our offices are at Van Born and Vinoy. That's in a Wayne County Health Department building. We have some offices there, but we also have a warehouse in Southgate on North Line where we keep all of our equipment. But one thing that we are woefully short on is our emergency operations center. That's needed for many reasons, but especially for obviously emergencies. So if we have a large scale emergency, we need to stand up an emergency operations center. We don't have a good space for it. So the director is working with the county exec's office and others to secure a space and set up our emergency operations center. But in the meantime, we make do with what we have. But we also have some events that are coming up very soon that really, really, really require a good emergency operations center, and that is our required drills and tests for our radiological emergency planning. So we're going to be doing drills and tests in conjunction with Fermi. We're required to do them.
Yes, you have the alerts. I saw the connection there as part of the security system. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're trying to get an emergency operation set up in time for those. That'll start happening in September, October, November. There's several levels to it. First would be drills with the hospitals to make sure they're prepared to take any casualties from a radiological event. And then the regular drills where they'll set up a scenario where we have to respond. And then the final drill, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and FEMA will send in people to observe and grade our response, as well as Monroe. We work very closely with Monroe, obviously. So, but on top of that is just any kind of emergency, that may come up where we need to set up an emergency operations center. And emergency operations center can entail many different agencies sending representatives so that they're in communication with their communities. So it needs to be a pretty functional emergency operations center.
You mentioned coordination, which is a key component of how you operate. What is your involvement in cooperation with the State's Fusion Center? Do we have a fusion center here?
Yes. Well, the Fusion Center can entail two different things. The state has an emergency operations center. So obviously, if it's a statewide event, they're going to stand up their emergency
I'm talking
operations.
about as far as the sharing of intelligence and
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, we have a new person at the DSEMIC, which is the intelligence analyst place through the state of Michigan, MSP. They run it, but we have a representative there. Ray Johnson was recently hired. So he's our analyst and our intelligence person at that center. So anytime we need intelligence on an event or anything that comes up, we can give him a call and he'll work with everybody over there to get the latest information, to analyze social media posts and anything else that might help us plan for an event.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Baydun, and then Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Serta, for the presentation. I hope all is well with Director Jafer, with his family.
Thank you, sir.
Let me take this opportunity to thank you and your department for stepping up in the recent crisis that we had with the air quality. The masks definitely helped a lot of the vulnerable residents in Wayne County. You mentioned the Emergency Operations Center. You're in the process, or you're in talking to the executive's office about possibly finding a location. I would be in full support of such an endeavor. I think this department does need a physical location, to deal with any possible emergencies as they arise. I mean, are you looking for a large facility, or it could be with other departments?
Well, I've had the opportunity in the short time I've been with this department to see other emergency operations centers at Monroe County. We were at a conference last year in Minnesota. They have a brand new, theirs is a state level emergency and they're capable. Let's go with Monroe County because that's more equivalent to ours. They're capable of holding about 50. They have like 50 stations, computer stations with phones and all the communication things that we need. They have the screens on the wall. They have plenty of parking. So that's kind of what we're looking to do, something that's right now we're probably going to try to stand something up that can hold 30 people, but we have 43 communities. If everybody sends a representative and an alternate, you can see what those numbers look like. And that may happen, if it's a large enough countywide incident, every community should be sending a representative. The schools should be sending a representative. The state police. I mean, we're getting close to 100 people now, but we're trying to set up a temporary emergency operations center for 30 right now because we know we have these drills coming up, and we'll make that work. But ideally, something like what Monroe County has, and state police obviously have a really nice emergency operations center. So that's kind of what we have in mind.
Okay, thank you.
And Deputy, real quick.
Thank you. Okay.
Brian Herman, lead planner for Wayne County Homeland Security. In addition to what Deputy Director said, we're constantly pursuing grants to fund the Emergency Operations Center on its own. And we've also put in through our budget department and our capital needs budget, which Ahmad, our finance guy, there's two components. This you do your capital budget first, and then you do your operating budget afterwards. So year after year, we have put in for a capital budget to cover that EOC. In addition to a grant, we're trying to get it funded also.
Okay, thank you, and please keep us posted. Commissioner Amareki.
Thank you.
And then Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So your main grant is from FEMA, is that correct? And what percentage of that is your budget, the FEMA?
Well, we have several funding sources. FEMA is a large funding sources. I don't know the exact percentage. Maybe one of our finance guys knows the numbers, but
I'm Ahmad Nasser, Finance Manager at Homeland Security. So I would say about 50% of our funding is coming from the grant.
Okay.
We budget something in general fund just for our operation or daily operation, but most of our funding purchases and help come from the grants. So I would say 50 up to 60% come from grants.
That's been pretty consistent.
Yes,
And,
that's
or
correct.
has that kind of gone up since like trying to think of the history of it since 9/11? I'm sure it's probably gone.
100% sure. I wasn't here at that time, but
Either was
I would speak up about right now. The current funding from the USC, a certain fiscal year of USC coming about $670,000 for our county. Right now, the FY25 is coming up to $950,000, and we're expecting to have an increase.
Okay.
In addition to that, also, Commissioner, the FEMA funds about 80% of our grants. So half of our budget is grant funded, and of which that 80% of it is FEMA.
Okay, all right, thank you. I was reading about your accomplishments in 25-26. One of them was funding and equipping the 43 community first responders. What was that?
So when we get this funding, especially the UASC funding, and that is from our Urban Area Security Initiative, that's federal funding. We're able to fund what we need to fund for our department, but whatever they have above and beyond that is we solicit projects from all of our 43 communities on needs that they have. Now their projects have to meet the criteria of UASC. They have to be anti-terrorist related, and so there's criteria they have to meet, but most of them are well aware, and if not, we help walk them through. So some of the things that we have funded are radios. Radios have gotten more and more expensive, and the technology is changing quickly on the radios to where a lot of times the radios that our officers wear on the street every day, even though they're perfectly functional, they have to be changed because the state is requiring by a certain date that they be encrypted. So we fund things like that, of some vehicles, just any kind of things that meet the criteria for UASC.
Okay, so you did that last year, and then a goal for 26-27 is upgrading the radios. Is this the same?
Always upgrading radios.
Okay,
Yeah.
purchasing new radios.
Yes.
Okay. So just one last question. We approved this commission approved a couple years ago $1 million for the Western Wayne County Special Operations Group. Now that money, and this is for our budget guy too, was put into your department. Is that right? For a while.
Yes, but only to oversee the distribution of it, because that entity had a list already of what they wanted to purchase. So
Right.
we didn't have any say one way or the other. on
No,
what
and
was
we
purchased.
didn't want you to have a say,
Yeah.
but it was put in there, but things have settled with that, right? I mean, everybody's all happy. They're
That's
getting their
correct.
equipment.
That's correct. So the budgeting department decided to issue a $1 million check directly to Western Wayne, and they gotta provide us, which they are doing right now, provide us with a list of all the expenditures, whatever they purchased that match the list of proposal.
Okay.
And we're monitoring that closely with them, and I'm in contact directly with Dearborn Heights Police Chief, and he updated me on those. So
Okay,
we are good
great.
on that.
I'm glad that finally got settled. But my next question is, last year we approved $3 million to update the light system in the county. And I don't know where that money is. It was where the first responders can change the light in the intersections so that these accidents don't happen. But so that did not get put into your
That's not our department.
Department.
So during the budget process, I'd like to just see where that is, that $3 million. Okay.
Of the respective cities.
No, I don't think it's been distributed yet. I think it's still sitting somewhere in the county. But that's fine. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't there and.
It wasn't brought to our
Okay.
attention.
The
All right, thank
Del
you.
Brown trying to address, you're trying to be recognized.
I'll try to bend over here, but good morning, Commissioners. Darcel Brown, Chief Assistant for the Executive's Office. So that $3 million, Commissioner Marecki, was recently, I guess earlier this year when we spoke, added to, how can I say, I guess forwarded to the Homeland Security Department for them to administer that program that you're speaking of with the traffic lights. So
Oh, so it is with them?
it is recently it was sent there a couple of months ago. So we're working with Director Jafer to make sure that
Oh, okay, okay, all right. So just so it goes a little smoother than the $1 million did.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Clemente,
I'm
and
sorry.
then Commissioner
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
McCormick.
Just on that note, so it's interesting because I have heard about that through, maybe Darcel, you can tell me. One of my mayors reached out about this already. So have our communities been informed about this money for lights? Because I was confused because at the state level, I did something about this and now I told her something different and I might have to go back and
So,
again.
yeah, through the chair, I'll have some more discussion with our management and budget team, and then I'll bring you some responses.
There's definitely, thank you. There's definitely some confusion and I'm glad you brought that up. So
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry. I jumped in front of anybody.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we talked about earlier, Commissioner Baydun brought up actually it was Kenlock brought up buildings that you're currently at, and we believe that you believe that you need a better location, a better situation. So have you already looked at county-owned buildings that we already have to move into or to renovate, update? Have you looked at that rather than trying to purchase another building location?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am aware that our director, Sammer Jafer, has met with people from the CEO's staff to look at county-owned buildings that might fit our needs.
Okay. And the other question I had was in reference to, we just recently funded community hubs in our prospective districts. Are you working directly with them or have you?
Are you speaking about the resiliency hubs?
Yes.
Yes, we're working directly with Kara, and we are. Our role is very limited, but we do meet with them regularly so that we can share information on how we operate, how we can work together, and also to give them some education and information on alerting systems and radios, communication, because those are going to be important things for these hubs to be aware of. So yeah, we're working closely with them.
Okay, so they actually have, or we're providing them radios so that you can communicate with them?
Yeah, that part is still in the work, whether they want that or not. We're not going to impose anything like that. And we're going to make them aware of what's available and what we use and how we use it. Because there's different types of radios. Some are law enforcement only radios, and there's some that have channels that, volunteers, citizens can use for various events and emergencies. So, it's a whole education process. And we have a communications chief who is very versed on that.
Okay. And earlier you talked about working with individuals in the community partners to ensure that they understand the emergency processes, schools and institutions. As far as funding is concerned, do you disseminate information to those community partners and then they disseminate it to the communities, or do you use social media, or how do you get out to the community what a emergency looks like and then how to respond?
Sure.
That's the question.
A couple of different things. We certainly use the Wayne County website and our own page on that website to get information out and receive information. We have a hotline that people send us emails all the time asking questions or, inquiring about some of the things that we do or even think that we do. And if we don't, we refer them to the right office. But we also attend various meetings for chiefs of police meetings for Western Wayne, Downriver, Wayne County chiefs, fire chiefs, so that we're always in contact with our communities. And we attend meetings when we're invited to share information on what we do and what is available through our department.
Okay. And so I guess what I'm trying to really clarify, if there was a major emergency in Wayne County, the general public and our response to them, is there a way that the general public would know what to do through Wayne County? Is there
Sure.
a system in place?
Yeah,
What does that look like?
There's several systems. We have several alerting systems, and we have several because of the fact that we want to be redundant in case one fails. So our main alerting system is a company called Everbridge. We're able to send out alerts immediately, depending on the level of the emergency would dictate what kind of alert we sent out. So we're capable of sending out an alert to a certain community or countywide.
Okay.
We can geofence a community or even a portion of a community. Let's say it's a derailment and it only involves closing down a certain road, or maybe it's a chemical spill. We may only need to send an alert out to a 1 square mile area. So we're capable of doing that, but we also have several levels of alerting systems out there. And for the average citizen, they are able to sign on to our system if they want, but we don't require anybody to. It's a voluntary thing. But if it's a big enough emergency, we could send out an alert that would go over the regular TV broadcast system. And I'm sure you've seen some of those from time to time. We're capable of doing that if the emergency is big enough.
Okay, great. Thank you. I would like information on signing on. I think all of us could use that to get out to our communities and notify them of how, if there's an emergency,
Yes, ma'am.
this is how you could find out more information. Thank you,
Yep.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Mhm.
Commissioner Peterson Mayberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just one quick question. Active shooter training, is there a cost associated with that on our end or on the end of the recipient where the training is taking place?
No, not when we give active shooter training, we don't charge a cost. The only costs associated with it are obviously materials, which we generally absorb.
So we absorb that on our end.
Yes.
And has there been a demand and request for active shooter training? Because, beyond schools, it's happening at churches and hospitals and things of that nature. Have you all seen a request for that?
Not a huge demand, but we're available when needed.
Okay. And how do people go about getting that information if they want to receive that? Just reach out to the office, or is there someone designated in the office?
Yeah, well, if you could reach out to the office, we have a line that's answered 24/7, And, if somebody live doesn't answer, we'll get the message and get back to you right away. So
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner, if I could add real quick, the cost that the UASC grant actually covers that. Training is a big component of the UASC federal grant.
Okay.
And active shooter is a big component also. So any type of training, stuff like that, we put through a form to get the actual event covered, and the expenses would be covered through the federal grant.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Scott, Martha G. Scott, and then Commissioner Clemente.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank Mr. Director Jafer for coming to Highland Park and the needs of, I have a couple of senior buildings that are not well equipped. And they have been there to help my seniors in so many ways. The elevators, so many things go wrong.
yes,
You guys have been there, so.
I
just
recall
wanna
being
thank-
there for things of the flooding situations and
Yeah,
things like that, and
yes.
glad to help.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Commissioner, just to follow up, Director Jafer, I've been here about 15 years now. Director Jafer has definitely kicked up the level of exposure of our department. He responds to a lot of different areas where the other ones, not that it was a lack of interest or concern,
Mhm.
it's just Director Jafer, for whatever reason, he has really reached out.
Yeah.
We've got a new mobile command post now that he's sending everywhere, and anybody that requests it within reason for events, Director Jafer, that's a big component of his, running this department. He has
Yes.
really kicked up the level of our participation elsewhere, and through the deputy director and some of the other staff just supporting all that kind of stuff. Director Jafer deserves a lot of credit.
Thank you all so much. So please let him know.
Will do. Thank you.
Sure will. Thank you. Commissioner Clemente will be the last person.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mainly comments, and I just wanted to talk about the mobile command unit because we did put a lot of money towards that. And it has been something that I have seen all over downriver. I just want to thank you for, we've had fires, Melvindale stuff, and your department is not small, but very mighty and very impactful. And I'm learning more and more. I did come to HQ and pick up mass personally myself. It was very well run. And that's what we need to be doing. That's our job as commissioners, taking care of our constituents, and you guys helping us out is really very helpful. So thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So once again, I would like to thank you for appearing before us. We will be concluding the budget hearings over the next few weeks, and then making a final decision on the budget. But thank you once again, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Corporation Council.
So I would like to start off by saying good morning
Good
and welcome to our budget hearing. And before us, we have is the proposed budget from the CEO for the Office of Corporation Counsel. Want to ask, based on these recommendations, whether or not this is sufficient funds for you to be able to operate.
Good morning, Commissioner Suhumu, Deputy Corporation Counsel. At the current time, yes, they are sufficient. It's a lawyer answer, okay?
Yes. So you've been busy over the previous years, as you have been. A lot of settlement conversations that have come before us. Whether it was the library, whether it was this, that, and thus. And so, what's your prospects, or what are we looking at for next year? And you can also talk about or dig further into some of those high points and some some of the things from the previous year as well.
Sure, if you indulge me for just a moment,
yes.
Commissioner. As you all know, the Department of Corporation Counsel is charter mandated, as is the Human Relations Business Inclusion Division within the department. Corporation Counsel provides legal services to all 11 executive branch departments and the CEO's office and all 5 other elected officials. While HRBI certifies vendors and businesses in the county and certifies fair employment practices for contractors that do business with the county. If I'd like to
Is the
take
team here?
HRBI, Assistant Division Director of HRBI.
So any of your team here, you can ask them to be recognized?
Edith, can you please stand? Edith Porter Stanley is the Assistant Division Director of HRBI.
Okay.
And Kelly Barg is our department administrator who nobody ever sees or hears from, but she is my right hand and helps me in administrating the department's budget.
Okay. Thank you.
If I can just highlight a few things.
Absolutely, yes.
We've handled over 25,000 legal matters in the last year, including 200 litigation cases. We've settled 15 of those cases and had over 70 dismissals. We've conducted nearly 1,500 mental health hearings, negotiated over 1,400 contracts, responded to over 4,100 FOIAs. Yes, those keep going up. We continue to work closely with HHBS and the Sheriff's Department to monitor the agreement that we have with the DOJ over for ADA compliance in the jail. And most importantly, we prevented through our work with outside counsel, we obtained a permanent injunction to prevent toxic waste from being transported in the Wayne County.
Great.
Yes. We have worked with the Wayne County Transit Authority on having the ballot initiative that will currently be on the August 4th ballot to approve transit throughout Wayne County. And we've also worked with outside counsel in the Treasurer's Office to process over 400 surplus proceeds claims. We'll continue our work in the next year and continue to provide quality legal services to the county.
So thank you. Let me just ask, so where is the Office of Risk Management housed?
Management and budget.
Okay, management and budget. Okay. And so are there any additional questions? Commissioner Baidoon and then Commissioner Marecki. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is more of a comment. Thank you, Sue, for all your staff in your department and the executive's office for doing everything you can to prevent the toxic waste from coming to Wayne County, especially to my colleague, Commissioner Al Wilson. He's very happy. We thank you for that, really. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had one question. I think these are the responses from your department, possibly you. It said, what programs or services are being eliminated or reduced? And it says, beginning this calendar year, the county did not renew its contract with the Wayne County Airport Authority. HRB, I was certifying vendors for the airport. This allows HRBI to focus on Wayne County-based certifications. So will you just explain that to me?
Historically, we had a contract, the county had a contract with the Wayne County Airport Authority where HRBI, Human Relations Business Inclusion, certified businesses for the airport authority. That contract concluded at the end of 2025. And we opted not to renew that contract to allow HRBI to refocus its efforts on the division's charter mandated function.
Okay, so there's another company that's working for the authority to certify businesses?
I don't know if they've decided to handle it in-house or they've decided to contract somebody else.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so did you all, and that as relates to that contract, was there a notice requirement? I know we had some, I know it's an independent authority, but did you all?
No, it was just like, it just termed out.
Oh, it termed out. So,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, so what the commission approved was up to December 31st, 2025, and it ended and we just decided not to renew.
Okay. Okay, any additional questions? Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You just mentioned the charter mandated efforts and the business inclusion. Can you talk more about that, what that looks like, what the mandates are?
Well, it's a charter.
Charter is in it. Continue, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's a charter mandated department.
Right.
And then their functions are per the procurement ordinance, which is to certify county-based businesses or minority-owned businesses or the like, and to certify fair employment practices of vendors that work for the county.
Okay, and when you said that you're going to focus on that, are you doing something different, or are you
we are working
expanding?
So we are working closely with procurement and refocusing on our efforts in outreach and stuff and the like to county-based businesses.
Okay. And I guess we'll hear more about that soon. Thank you. Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you. Welcome again. Interesting seeing you here as much as we do, and it's almost as many times as I see you at Costco. But anyway, thank you for your attention to all the legal issues for the county. I did want to ask about something you mentioned a few minutes ago about the transit issue. Now, what did that require? I mean, what did you contribute to that in some way? I mean, reviewing documents?
So Corporation Council provided advice and counsel to the Transit Authority on compliance with the articles of incorporation of the Transit Authority. We also advised them on the ballot proposal language. And we also successfully defeated a legal challenge to the ballot initiative.
Okay, because I know there's been some concern about what if this entity that is pushing this issue, that they're paying for things that, so was there a charge for that too?
So what you are referencing is the campaign finance challenge that was recently filed,
Right.
and that is currently being litigated.
Right. Okay. So is there any charges that the county has billed them for?
Build the Transit Authority for?
Right.
No.
No, the ones that are promoting the issue.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I'm not sure I understand the
I
question.
guess I'm trying to figure out how to state it. I know you were trying to let me know that it was something that's still being litigated.
It's still pending.
But so was there any bill established or any bill you had to be requested to do this, correct?
No,
To review
the Transit Authority is an authority of the county, and then Incorporation Council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I get it. Thank you.
Okay, any additional questions? Any additional questions? Okay, I want to thank you for attending this this afternoon. No, it's still morning.
Still morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Okay, Madam Clerk, next item on the agenda.
Personnel, Human Resources.
Thank you.
If you don't calculate.
Good morning. Mike Mackey, PHR Transformation.
Good morning, and I want to thank you for joining us this morning. We have in front of us the recommended budget from the CEO regarding your department. I'd like to ask one, whether or not this is a sufficient recommended amount, but also for you to highlight some of the major accomplishments over the previous year and some of the new proposed changes for the upcoming year.
Oh, thanks for allowing me that.
And I know you just came into the position. I'll take that. We'll take that.
Yeah, I'm transitioning, but so I'm gonna read if you don't mind.
Oh,
I don't have it
absolutely.
memorized. Next year, hopefully, I'll just
Okay.
be able to, regurgitate everything we do. But so basically, this budget is focused on
Can you
one.
state your name again? I'm sorry.
Sorry about that. Mike Mackey. Currently, my title is HR Transformation Chief.
Okay.
Until I officially go in front of commission That's my title.
Okay, thank you.
And I enjoy the job, by the way. So anyway, this budget, anything else I need to do, Phil?
No, you good.
Good.
You can dive
This
in.
budget is focused on one goal, ensuring Wayne County has the workforce necessary to deliver services to our residents. Human resources is no longer simply processing transactions. We are transforming into a strategic partner that recruits, develops, supports, and retains the workforce that every county department and elected offices depend on. Over the past year, we have continued modernizing our operations through Oracle Fusion, strengthened recruitment and employee development, enhanced performance management, expanded learning opportunities, and laid the foundation for a more data-driven and customer-focused HR organization. Our work supports every department, every elected office, and ultimately every resident we serve. And I have a few points about some of the work in different areas. Our focus is on transformation, not simply maintaining operations. So in the transformation area, we want to modernize HR business processes, and we have modernized some and continue to work on that. Standardizing policies and standard operating procedures. Implementing the HR business partner model. That's a model that I spoke to before. I don't know if it was in front of this group, but our HR business partner model is basically where you create an HR business partner that deals directly with each department. So DPS has an HR business partner. Every department, our goal is to have every department to have an HR business partner. And we developed a model for that. Using technology to improve customer service and accountability, and moving towards a data-driven decision-making organization. Oracle implementation. Everybody's always asking about Oracle implementation. Electronic recruiting. We want to make sure that everything we do is electronic and digitized, but electronic recruiting through Oracle. Position management workflows, automated approvals, so we're not passing paper. And it's all done through workflows and through Oracle so that it can be tracked, which allows us to help us track workload also. Better reporting, less paper, improved employee experience, continuous quarterly enhancements, and implementation did not end at the go live. Our work now is optimization, automation, and adoption. That's what we're focused on at Oracle. Recruitment, career fairs, community outreach, updated job descriptions, we're updating job descriptions through a classification project. I don't know how much time I have, but
you can
truncate it a little bit.
No, I'm just saying yes, you
Am
can.
I the last one?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
so I'm between you and lunch. I got it.
No, you can give some of the high points because we're gonna have some questions.
All right. Well, recruitment and I'll continue. Recruitment and retention remains our top priorities, right? So career fairs, utilizing career fairs, community outreach, updated job descriptions are very important, right? So the classification project we have going on now, which is going to update all of our job descriptions. It's going to take a minute to do them all, but we're going to go through every job description. So making sure that that's updated. Career paths, creating career paths like we did with the HRBP model. For upward mobility for our employees, Oracle recruiting, reward strategy, comprehensive competitive benefit strategy, Savvy loan assistance. Another thing we're looking at is a program, and we haven't presented it yet, but I'm going to tell you about it. It's SOAR, which is the way to get a associate's degree, bachelor's degree, or a master's degree right on your phone. We're looking at this, and it's through Cornerstone College and University out in Grand Rapids. But it's a great program, and we have negotiated, and it's not a done deal yet, but $1,950 for every Wayne County employee as a scholarship. And we also told them that if they were going to do county employees, that we wanted county residents also included, kind of like Savvy, trying to use that model. So hopefully that's coming. We're investing in employees, leadership development, and I have my training team back here, Heidi Burson's right there. My whole team's back here, actually. So I believe in the commission.
Can you recognize them?
Heidi, Heidi Burson, Avia.
Can you stand up, please?
Avia Pishon Cozy. Avia Pishon, excuse me. I'm sorry. I've known her for a long time, so she's gone through a couple of names. Rebecca Jones. Who else do I got in here? Hey, that's Donna. And Brianna was here.
No, we see, so many of them attend our meetings on a regular basis, so
Oh,
we're
okay.
familiar with them. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
New to me,
Sorry.
but they're here.
All right.
And I'm really, Avia is like my sister, so I've known her for close to 30 years. So I was joking around with her. So exit interviews and fiscal responsive exit interviews. Every day I get one that says you need to do exit interview. I forward it to Heidi and say, where's the exit interview on this individual? So we're working on automating that process. We have a problem with timing with that. That's what I found out about our exit interviews. And we'll discuss that a little bit more when we get. And then fiscal responsibility, obviously working with budget and making sure that we're fiscally responsible and managing our budget the way it's supposed to be managed. And Donna's done a really good job in the past, and we're going to continue with that. And that's it for me. That's my opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you. Want to start off by asking you, one of the things that we have, of course, the Oracle and the new system that's coming online, or as it's coming online. Want to ask you this. You mentioned optimization, but one thing I want to talk about was that we have a lot of overtime in a number of a few departments. And it is this commission, or at least the committee's intent, to put money in the budget to require particularly one of the departments to address this overtime so we can have a better picture of what's going on there and tracking time is the sheriff department. We're going to put in there for some sort of geofencing, time card mechanism, or some sort of way of actually tracking time. But you can also you can also pull out other information, such as how much time is individual is working, whether or not it's creating stresses and certain other things. So there's a lot of different data and information you can pull from that. But it is our intention on putting some funds in there for the sheriff department to have some sort of geofencing or time card a mechanism in place over there. So are you looking at this overtime issue within any of the various departments?
Well, we currently in PHR. So we have in PHR, we have in our benefits department is one of the departments that uses overtime. So just starting to look at, mind you, I've been here for in this position looking at budgets for about 3 weeks, but we are looking at use of overtime. And in the past, I've had organizations where I managed overtime budgets, very large overtime budgets for our employees. But we will definitely be looking at it and setting up, working with Phil and his team and making sure that we have the right amount of dollars in there and budgeting for it and then tracking it. The important part is tracking it. So the way I've done it in the past is that request comes in up front. Right? You manage the overtime by managing the requests and then managing the work and then identifying what work they do during those overtime periods so that we're spending the right amount of money and applying the right amount of dollars to it. If it's too low, we have to work with Phil and the team to make sure that we get the right funds in there. If they're overspending in overtime, if you don't create an accountability system to make sure that you're tracking those overtime dollars, it could go the other way.
And that's why I'm saying, as it relates to the sheriff's department, absolutely a time card mechanism. There's no reason now that we spent all this money on Oracle that we shouldn't be able to have a module that will tie that in. Yeah. So yeah.
We'll work with the sheriff's department and with you. Like we're currently working with the sheriff's department on a sheriff's one-page application. So working directly with the sheriff's department is going to be very important for us with all the elected.
Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Marecki, and then Commissioner any other committee members? Commissioner Baydun, then Commissioner Wilson, and then Commissioner Mayberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have one question, and you've only been here 3 weeks, so you may not even know the answer. Under other charges, the department's asking for $92,000 for the projected growth in activity within the disability division. What is that? And again, if you're not unsure.
Yeah, I can bring that. Yeah, I don't have it off the top of my head, but
Okay.
I can definitely.
Donna's Donna, yeah.
There we go.
Provide the operational support necessary to increase the work. I forgot to ask you this. I forgot to ask you this in the parking garage.
Good morning or afternoon, Commissioners. Donna Wilson, Director of Special Projects, and it is for a new software system that we're looking to help monitor leave of absences.
Leave of absences?
Yes, and how time and attendance. So we have Oracle as the base, but this helps with the connectivity with messaging and collecting the documents. So it's an add-on to the Oracle system. So
Oh,
it's
for the disability. Okay.
Yes.
Managing. Okay. I had a completely different thought on this. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, Ms. Wilson. I know you've been for the committee at least since I've been here. Yeah, so welcome. Let me let me now go to Commissioner Baydun, then we're going to go to Commissioner Wilson, then Commissioner Mayberry.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. Mr. Mackey, you've been on this job for 3 weeks. I just want to tell you, you're doing a good job. Keep it up. I don't have a question.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
He really appreciates it.
Commissioner Wilson, then Commissioner Mayberry.
First, 2 questions. Oh, sorry. Thank you. I've been here, so I gotta hit the mic. I'm well now. Thank you. Okay, first of all, Mr. Mackey, is that your name? Mackey?
Mackey, yeah.
Mackey. No, just a little comment.
Second most popular name in your
No, it's. Yeah. Well,
That's a good one. It's probably true too.
so I just want to say, sir, I was watching a movie the other day, and I think it was the Babe Ruth story. And anybody ever tell you look like Babe Ruth?
Man, I wish I could play like that.
Okay, anyway, that's first thing. You look like Babe Ruth, by the way.
Nobody ever told me that.
Okay, well,
I got a lot of other names though. Yeah. I love it.
All right. But any event, welcome. I know you're going to do a great job.
Sure.
Just my more serious question is that oftentimes individuals are trying to seek employment with Wayne County, and they go through the web site, get on and make a determination, fill out the application and all the information that they need to engage. And then some of these individuals happen to call me back and say, I haven't gotten a response back from the HR department. So I think I've mentioned it to Donna. Donna's done a good job of trying her best because there's a lot of folks that apply. But how do we kind of close that loop in terms of individuals who are looking for responses and calling me 3 months later and say, Mr. Commissioner, I applied. I'd like to be, get an opportunity to be interviewed, or at least yay or nay, or do I meet the qualifications? Do I not? And when they go 3 or 4 months without getting a response back from the HR department, and then when I look on this sheet here and it says there's a bunch of vacancies and you're trying to, interview people and give them opportunities, how do we kind of bring that to some type of closure?
That's a really good question.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that we have is an automated recruitment system right now in Oracle.
Automated?
Right? So automation, right?
Okay.
So automation, we have to implement and adopt the automation that we have, including what we have in this current budget, which is Oracle boosters. So what we want to do, and what I've done in the past, is what I'm going to do here. And that is make sure that we're sending notices to applicants, whether they qualify, they don't qualify, when they apply for jobs. Closing that loop with them when we do exit interviews and entrance interviews. Those things need to be done. We need the tools to do them. Now we are starting to get those tools. We have some of those tools. We have to implement them. One of the things that we definitely want to do, and there's a tool within Oracle also that lets you create kind of like a customer service type hub, right? So the HRBP model will be our workforce solutions hub, and where we'll create a couple of contact rep positions to actually do that intake. Okay, and be able to get back with those. But in the interim, if you get those questions, email me, call me, ask me, and I'll follow up on it and make sure that people are getting notices.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mackey.
Commissioner Peterson Mayberry.
Thank you, Donna,
you.
as well. Thank you for your help.
Thank you through the chair. I'm super excited to see the work that has been put into the exit interviews. And we talked about that very early on when I came on. So thank you for that. I think we're finally closing the loop on that. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. And now Mr. Mackey. I have two. One, Excited to see that we are recruiting through social media platforms as well. What is a gas station TV advertising? Because it can't be, I don't think it's what I'm thinking.
I think they're at the pump. So, you know, when you go to the people who have updated pumps, not like
Oh.
Sam stations, they don't have updated pumps.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, I'm not-
Glad they do. I don't know. It
Yeah,
should happen. It should happen. Come on, Sam.
Exactly,
Sam
right?
is
So
like
we're gonna do
Mr.
the Mackey Bay. So the state gas stations have these screens and
Okay.
right?
So it is what I was thinking.
It is. And
so
they come up on there and they actually people actually watch those.
I know, and that's what I was wondering if we're doing that holistically for departments. The other thing is I've been at concerts. One concert I was at, Darcel got on the
Yes.
mic and he was on stage, and I was super excited.
At the Aretha.
Down at the Aretha, but I was super excited, to see Darcel on stage. And I think these are the creative ways that I'm talking about every time I talk about how are we recruiting versus the job fairs. We're going to do the job fairs and we're going to do the traditional recruitment, but there were so many people who were surprised as I sat and listened to those around me to have someone recruiting for Wayne County on the stage in between acts at a concert. You know, I just thought that was unique. So those are two of the things. The last thing is, as we talk about other departments and what they're doing, best practices, you mentioned about the customer service, because I too have heard that people have not been replied to, even if they don't get the job. So for what Oracle promises, I think there should be a way that we could immediately send responses to people to let them know, yes, it's been received, but I don't know what that timeline looks like after 30 days. What's the onboarding now, the timeline? We heard from another department, but what's the onboarding now?
Yeah, I don't have the data, but I can get that back. Do you
Okay.
have the data?
No, we don't have some positions run very quickly. I think we started talking about it at the last committee, where some are posted internally for union movements and then others are direct hires. So what we're trying to do with the stats is having the HR liaisons and the HR business partners change the candidates' dispositions in Oracle. And that will say, yes, you're qualified, you're moving to the next step, or no, you're not qualified and you're not moving to the next step. So those are things that when we're talking about Oracle adoption and changes in behavior, we have some of the technology. Now we just have to continue to train it and use that technology.
So that's exciting to hear. And I just want to make sure that we're always appreciating those employees that we have and we're investing in them for retention as much as we are for recruitment.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And through the chair, if I could just add one on the social media. So the commission just recently approved a LinkedIn contract with for PHR that allows us to do direct messaging and managing through LinkedIn. So it's no longer, Mike, you or whoever, can you just put it on your account? We can actually do blasts. Yes. So very excited about using that new technology.
Thank you. Thank you. Any additional question? Any additional questions? Thank you.
Nice. She can take a vacation.
Okay.
That's great.
All right. Yes. Next item, Madam Chair.
Item F, such other matters as to be properly submitted before the committee.
I know of none. Next item.
Item G, public comments.
At this time, Madam Clerk, would you please unmute individuals who are joining us virtually? And I'd like to ask those persons, if you would like to address this committee, to please raise your hand or indicate that you would in the chat.
We have one hand on Zoom by Tobias Beverick.
Brevik, Tobias Brevik.
Okay, at this time, Tobias, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, great. So I am going to process some other things. I took about 4 pages of notes, but I will try to email you those after I've thought more, Commissioner Kinlock. But while 3CC is hopefully still here, when they were talking, I heard a really engaging sort of data analytics methodology that they could potentially use specifically in targeting or determining which cases should not be done remotely because of the sort of problematic aspects of it. So if their data analysts or data scientists are not aware of something called an upset plot, it's a kind of niche visualization, but it's not complicated. That could potentially amplify the intuition that I was already hearing about sort of categorizing things into case types. So I would suggest that if they have a data science team or somebody who can do like Python or R, that's where that's going to be. And then if they wanted to even do sort of predictive analytics methodology, statistical methodology, then I would probably suggest looking into like ordered logit. Again, that's sort of nation stuff, but I just heard this sort of interesting data thing. And then I do just kind of want to say that when 3CC was talking, it was so engaging to listen to because they have it's so clear how much creativity and passion and like the reusing of the monitors, like that was really inspiring to hear. So I wanted to just kind of give that shout out and say that I appreciate hearing how much the court staff and judges like are invested in the community.
Okay, Madam Clerk, before we adjourn, Madam Clerk, at this time, I'm going to go back. I'm going to add onto the agenda. I'm going to take the privilege as chair to add to the agenda public hearing relevant to the budget. Yes.
Just for clarification, it was published accordingly, so we're not simply adding it to the agenda. It was actually noticed and published according to law. And so it was just inadvertently missing, but so it's not being added. It was published. I just want to make that clear for the record.
Yes.
We did follow all legal requirements.
Thank you. So at this time, I would like to ask for a motion to open the public hearing as it relates to the fiscal year 26, 27, 27, 28 budget.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Scott,
Excuse you.
Commissioner Baker McCormick, Commissioner Clementi, Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Baydun,
Yes.
Chair Kinlock.
Yes.
I'm here.
Okay,
Thank you, Commissioner Ricky.
Commissioner Murphy. Okay. Thank you. Can continue.
Public hearing is now open.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask anyone who is present, if you would like to address this committee, to bring comment as it relates to the proposed budget for fiscal years 26, 27 and 27, 28. Is there anyone present in the room? Anyone present? Madam Clerk, I would like to extend that to those individuals joining us virtually. If you would like to speak during this public hearing on the 26, 27 and 27, 28 proposed budget, if you will raise your hand or indicate that you would in the chat. Madam Clerk.
There's no one on Zoom wishing to make a comment for this public hearing.
Okay,
Close public hearing.
it's been moved and supported to close this public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, this public hearing is closed. And Madam Clerk, we resume to the order of business, the regular order of business. And next item, please.
Adjournment.
Motion is moved by Commissioner Baydun, supported by Commissioner Anderson. All